I should have just worn my Casper the Friendly Ghost t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm the ghost. Eh?
The Ghost and Molly McGee is the media equivalent of hugging a warm, toasted marshmallow. This series is a beacon in the darkness, a breath of fresh air that epitomizes cozy domestic bliss.
Ooh, this is pretty nice.
Many modern cartoons focus on world-ending plots and broad-scale ideas, such as the dangers of fascism and the repercussions of colonialism. These messages, though incredibly important, hit a little too close to home these days.
He's just trying to distract us from his crazy utopia talk. Too bad it won't work.
Thank you, Boiling Isles.
We love you, Grandpa!
Escapism is defined as the tendency to seek distraction and relief from unpleasant realities through a certain piece of entertainment. The fantastical elements in the Ghost and Molly McGee are fairly tame, but I would much rather live in the city of Brighton than in places like Blood Gulch Outpost No. 1 or Sunnydale, California.
A lot of weird stuff happens here.
Zombies!
Hyena people!
Snyder!
The stakes in this series are almost always low in the best possible way. Conflicts are nuclear and local. Every character has an interesting inner life, and there's a heartening sense of community amongst these people that I personally would love to experience. None of the interactions I've ever had with my neighbors have been half this pleasant.
This is the Brighton I remember. Thank you, dear.
Another great aspect of this series is the music. I've sorely missed theme songs with actual lyrics, and this bad boy is an absolute earworm.
I've been cursed. It's the worst.
Now you're stuck with me.
As great as this tune is, it's nowhere close to being one of my favorite songs from the series. I mean no disrespect to the Dorina Harvey band, but Battle with the Beast is the single greatest sea shanty I've ever heard.
In the battle with the beast. To each other they're beloved, but to him they're just a feast.
It's kind of ironic that a show where half of the cast is dead is such a comforting thing to consume. Our titular ghost is a fellow nicknamed Scratch. He's an outcast in the afterlife who's great at scaring people, but terrible at bonding with them.
This club is only for popular ghosts, not the worst of the worst.
His world is turned upside down when the McGee family moves into the house he haunts.
Dad, I'm not gonna lie to you. I love it!
Scratch doesn't stand a chance against Molly and her undying optimism. Her goal in life is to enhappify other people by making the world a better place.
Enhappify?
That's a word.
She's completely unfazed by the fact that there's a phantom living in her attic, and when said phantom casts a curse on her, she's overjoyed at the prospect of having a forever best friend.
Wherever you go, whatever you do, for the rest of your days,
I'll be there.
Fantastic performance.
Huh?
What follows is a season full of found family bonding hijinks. The McGees immediately accept Scratch as one of their own, and though Scratch initially bristles at this idea, he quickly grows to cherish Molly, Daryl, Sharon, and Pete.
I used to haunt a house. Now I haunt a home. Oh.
I can't really analyze these episodes without gushing over every little relatable line of dialogue, such as hating turnips, or thinking that wearing a blazer gives you grown-up knowledge. I, too, have plantar fasciitis, Pete, and it hurts like a bitch.
We'll ride
These snippets encapsulate how uniquely down-to-earth the writing is. The show has its fingers on the pulse of reality, and it correctly grasps what's actually funny about modern internet culture.
Let's go to your house and record our first click-clock dance video.
The only time a segment felt remotely out of touch is when Molly told Pete that no one would watch his ridiculously long video presentation, as if H-Bomber guy Jenny Nicholson and Quentin Reviews don't exist on this platform.
But my slideshow's not getting views there either.
Is that 3 hours long?
I added star wipes, Molly. What more do people need?
Two other crucial supporting characters are Libby Stein Torres and Jeff, spelled G-E...
Stop spelling your name and get back to my problem.
F.
Libby is Molly's human best friend. She has a deep love for turtles, terrible bad luck, and a notoriously awful singing voice.
The spotlight's blind me, and my fears confine me.
Jeff, meanwhile, is Scratch's ghost best friend, though the latter isn't exactly thrilled with this development.
What are you even doing here?
Well, you promised we'd hang today, the second Saturday after never.
Seems doctored.
Jeff's inclusion here extends far beyond the basic purview of comic relief. Scratch has managed to isolate himself in countless ways. He's essentially a pariah in the ghost world. His undead peers exclude him at every turn, with Jeff being the only notable exception. Despite his rampant feelings of loneliness, Scratch balks at every olive branch Jeff extends towards him. Jeff is not conventionally cool. He has several annoying personality quirks, and he's utterly incapable of taking a hint, but he genuinely wants to be Scratch's friend.
This guy? Oh, no. He's not a friend. He's more like an annoying co-worker.
I think that everyone, myself included, is guilty of rebuffing someone whose sincere platonic advances grated on our last nerves. We convince ourselves that solitude is better than being friends with someone who aggravates us on a surface level, but this is demonstrably false. Human beings are communal creatures, and so are our ghosts.
I used to be miserable in this house. It was lonely and dark, a lot of spiders. I'm talking a lot of spiders. But the McGees made this house a home.
Life is more fulfilling when you broaden your social circle and forge connections with dissimilar individuals. By opening up our hearts and admitting that we care about other people, we become stronger in every sense of the word. Scratch learns this lesson several times over. First with Molly, then with Libby, and wholesomely enough, with Jeff.
Huh, buddy?
You called me buddy!
What? No, no, I didn't mean it!
Yeah, I didn't mean it either, bestie.
Stop winking.
Another character who's worth mentioning is Andrea Davenport.
It's actually Andrea. Isn't that what I said? No.
She seems like a stereotypical mean girl during her introductory episode, and most of her subsequent appearances throughout Season 1 do nothing to contradict this assumption. But I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. Does she overreact to Molly mispronouncing her name? Yes. But I also get irrationally angry whenever people pronounce my name like Tom Hanks does in the movie Forrest Gump, so I can't really condemn her actions here without looking like a total hypocrite.
Jenny!
The series does have a few overarching plots, but the tension in these storylines is almost exclusively rooted in interpersonal affairs. Scratch spends most of Season 1 trying to avoid banishment in the afterlife. The flow of failed phantoms is where ghouls who fail to meet the Ghost Council's quotas are sent. They're led by an unnamed chairman, a Grim Reaper-like character who feeds on the misery his underlings cultivate in the living world.
And when the chairman goes hungry, oh, things get bad. Full of failed phantoms bad.
That is news.
It was in your ghost orientation.
Brighton used to be a cesspool of misery, but when the McGees moved in, Molly and her family spread a ton of joy throughout this city and its inhabitants. Scratch in particular got worse and worse at his job due to the happiness Molly inspired within him, to the point that he eventually becomes completely infected with it.
Oh, what's wrong with you? You're, adorable. Obviously, why do you think I'm here, Doc?
When Jinx the Joy Hunter catches Scratch in a lie, Molly leaves her physical body behind and sets out to save her forever best friend from the Ghost Council's judgment.
Ooh. Thank you, Howling Harriet. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Are we all just pretending we understood that?
Enough!
The duo is ultimately banished together, but this decision backfires horribly. Everything that Molly touches turns into pure joy, and the flow of failed phantoms is no exception to this rule.
Hope is more powerful than fear. Love is more powerful than hate. Joy is way more powerful than misery will ever be.
This moment is triumphant, but there's another antagonist in Season 1 who is, in my opinion, even scarier than the chairman. The American cost of living.
I have insurance. That should take care of most of it.
This total is after insurance.
True story. When I was in college, I suffered a minor cardiac episode. And when the paramedics arrived, I refused to let them load me into the ambulance because I knew how expensive that shit would be. I hate it here.
I'm fine. Just got agony. I am in agony.
The McGees' financial troubles are carefully woven into several story segments. When the family van needs repairs, Sharon signs up for an app that's reflective of the increasingly horrific gig economy. And when they finally scrape together enough money to pay for Pete's hospital bill, they accidentally default on their mortgage, so the bank repossesses their house.
Are we gonna have to leave our forever home?
This show does not shy away from the McGees' homelessness. They spend an entire episode living out of their van in the middle of the woods, and try as they might, Pete and Sharon can't put a positive spin on things.
Kids, the hard truth is
that we still have 30 days before the bank can sell the house. Mom and I will definitely sort it out before then.
In an attempt to distract herself from this bleak development, Molly joins dozens upon dozens of after-school clubs.
Is everything all right? Of course. Everything's totally normal.
I really related to this story arc. In 2016, the southern half of Louisiana experienced a catastrophic flooding event that left thousands of people reeling, my family included. I threw myself into the high school theater department because the long-ass rehearsals meant that I didn't have to go home and face the fact that our house didn't have walls anymore. This experience completely destroyed my worldview, and part of me will never fully recover. But Molly is thankfully spared from this disillusionment because the city of Brighton rallies together to save the McGees' forever home.
Everyone chipped in what they could, and we've raised enough to get your house back. Oh, thank you!
This beautiful gesture was organized by none other than Andrea Davenport, who, as it turns out, views Molly as her best and closest friend.
Sure, our friendship may have a rough exterior, but underneath it's something special. Like a geode! Hashtag metaphor.
Season 2 introduces 2 new changes to the status quo. Since Scratch defeated the previous chairman, the robe and its job responsibilities ultimately fall to him.
The Earth is doomed.
The McGees also get new neighbors.
Welcome our new neighbors to our neighborhood. We brought you lots of goodies, just like a neighbor should. Hey!
The Chens are a close-knit family of ghost hunters who moved to Brighton to study its paranormal activity. Their daughter June is an explicitly autistic character, which is a fantastic piece of representation to come from a Disney Channel show. Lord knows they haven't handled this topic well in the past.
They want to see if I have autism. You don't. Let's go tell them you don't.
Capital W, wow.
My first impressions of Ollie were poor.
I'm also passionate about making our world a better place. I like to call it engoodifying.
That's like enhappifying, but a little bit different, but mostly the same, and I am here for it!
I'm not! A media pet peeve of mine is whenever a character's love interest is just the gender-bent version of themselves. Ron from Inside Job is a prime example of this trope.
Shadow government is just as dumb as the regular government.
It's just assholes all the way down.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Libby and Jeff were easy to love. Patty from the nursing home became an instant favorite of mine, but I initially couldn't find anything to latch onto with Ollie.
Look at his face! Hilarious! Still, date with a ghost hunter is a bad idea.
I agreed with Scratch. To me, Ollie was just another swoopy-haired teenage boy with a narrow worldview.
I've been told ghosts are bad my whole life. It has to be true.
My opinion of him was all but set in stone until I made it to Season 2, Episode 8, The Unhaunting of Brighton Video.
I don't feel bad that I was wrong about everything. I don't feel bad about attacking innocent ghosts. And I don't feel bad that I almost hurt someone you really care about. Or maybe I do feel bad. Really, really bad.
Now this is an interesting character development. Ollie did what any kid would do in his position. He trusted his parents' judgment and acted accordingly. Ghost hunting was a core pillar of the Chen's family dynamic, to the point that it was their main source of income.
I can already see the YouTube title. Our kids used everything we taught them to catch ghosts.
Million views, easy. Maybe we'll finally get a sponsor.
It's one thing to learn the truth about a certain topic. It's another thing entirely to learn that your mom and dad are fallible beings who led you astray. This is an incredibly hard blow to bear. As children, we have no choice but to trust our folks. It's a survival instinct that blossoms into a naive sense of hope. But everyone is flawed, parents especially. They are not all-knowing, godlike creatures. They're human. They make mistakes. This realization is difficult to process, but it's a key step on the road to adulthood. We as individuals have to form our own opinions and belief systems, and sometimes our values don't align with the people who raised us.
Clearly some ghost has addled your brains.
Oh no, have you been possessed?
Dad, I need you to give ghosts a chance.
Blood ties don't define a family. The connections that make you feel safe and understood are the ones that you should prioritize. Your well-being is of the utmost importance. Never forget that.
We need more!
That's what friends are for.
Friends? Bring it in, bud!
Ollie and June are incredibly lucky. They have loving parents who are willing to listen to their children and change their long-held stances.
Thank you for pushing me to open my eyes. You're a great kid, Ollie.
This is yet another triumphant moment. It doubles down on the message that Season 1's finale championed. Negative emotions are strong, but positivity will always be stronger.
We did it! Woo! Best chairman! Ha! Look at it! Cutie bits, cutie bits.
Season 2 has plenty of other great highlights. We get to meet Jeff's afterlife partner, Jeff. They are #relationship goals.
Jeff spells it with a J, while I spell it G-E.
I know how you spell it!
Molly grapples with her biracial identity. Libby hits a horrible puberty milestone. And Andrea has to reconsider her meticulous life plan when her father's department store goes out of business.
Then I'd marry Alina Webster. Her parents own Webster's department store in Moonlight, and she's like really good at market analysis.
I also wanted to give a shout out to Game On. It's not thematically relevant to anything, but God, I love it when cartoons use pixelated video game animations. This shit is stunning. This show was poised to have a spectacular third season, but then Disney canceled it due to low streaming numbers. Season 3s are becoming an endangered species within the world of animation. I think the only recent Disney show that got the full run of episodes it wanted was Amphibia, and I grow less and less satisfied with how that series chose to pace itself.
Our first solo Earth mission without Anne. Big stuff.
Marcy is half dead in a test tube. What the fuck are we doing here? I will give the mouse credit for one thing and one thing only. They let the Ghost and Molly McGee's creators make one final episode to give the show a proper send-off. A recurring plotline throughout Season 2 pertains to Scratch and uncovering the mystery of who he was when he was alive.
Tell us your death story!
Jeff, I can't tell you my death story because I don't remember my death story. I don't remember my life.
It's revealed in the final episode that Scratch never actually died. He's a wraith, the spirit of a living person who has, to quote Libby, literally given up the ghost.
Your body's alive, but no one's home.
I feel nothing.
His true identity is that of lifelong Brighton resident Todd Mortensen, a minor background character whose lifelessness is observable to all who notice him.
Look at this guy. Zero spirit. It's like he has no soul.
What follows is a musical number that is nothing short of spectacular. Scratch sings about his life, a drab and numbing existence defined by his unwillingness to take any chances until his soul ultimately slipped away.
So afraid of dying that I never lived a day.
I was not prepared for such an intense gut punch to come from a show called The Ghost and Molly McGee. Yet here we are. This sequence is breathtaking. Scratch's song speaks to the very essence of my being.
I had no stories, no adventures, no romances.
I am a notoriously pessimistic individual. If my friends ask me to look on the bright side of things, then all I do is complain about the light's intensity. I can't find the silver lining without stressing over future potential rainstorms. More often than not, I let my anxiety rule the day. I've lost count of how many social events I've bailed on because I was too worried about asinine things like parking or the crowds. Life's dichotomy has me in a chokehold. I want to experience as many things as possible during the short time I have here, but I'm often incapable of mustering up enough courage to simply step outside. Our existences are punctuated by the chances we take, but if we fail to participate in anything, then we're actively wasting this precious, fleeting gift that fell into our laps.
Taking risks is how you know you're actually alive!
Molly selflessly advocates for Scratch to return to his body, even though it means losing her forever best friend. He has the opportunity to try again, to rectify his mistakes, and to live, as Patty would say, without regrets.
Dream team? You and me?
For all eternity.
A newly reinsouled Todd decides to finally leave Brighton and join his best friend Adia on her worldwide adventures. He doesn't remember his afterlife, but the mark Molly and the McGees left on him proves to be indelible.
Sweet baby corn, this is gonna be enhappifying.
That's the beauty of making connections. They transcend our mortality.
Arrivederci, Mal!
Mal? But I didn't tell you my...
The Ghost and Molly McGee is a show that wears its theme on its sleeve, and I applaud it for that.
The perfect day was here all along!
Sometimes you make it very hard to like you.
Enhappify may not be a real word, but the sentiment behind it is both endearing and sincere. Molly's positive outlook on life can be cloying at times, but it's also deeply inspirational. This show deserved a third season, but the 41 episodes we got still managed to successfully enhappify every single person who watched them, myself included. And if it's any consolation, all of Season 3's scripts and outlines are available for free on the Internet Archive. When it's not being catastrophically hacked, that is. This video is brought to you by my patrons. If you'd like to support me and the channel, please consider pledging. I would deeply appreciate it. This year's fourth and final Requiem will be exclusively available on that platform. And not to toot my own horn, but it's one of the funniest videos I've ever written.
Looks like geometry to me.
Geometry? Until next time, take care.